Be prepared, because the reality you are living in right now is more flexible, more layered and more connected to your frequency than you can believe. This timeline that you open your eyes to every morning when you wake up is not your only choice. The world you see, the emotions you feel, the events you encounter, they are all reflections of a reality that resonates with a version of you. But here's the secret. This version of you is not just a choice, it's a habit. You are currently living a state of self over and over again, without even realizing it. You go through the same cycles, get into the same emotional scenarios, attract similar people, situations and outcomes into your life. Then you wonder why nothing changes. But change is not out there. The real reality is written with a frequency that starts inside you. And this is a secret that no one has ever told you openly. You are a reality creator, but you use this power with the energy of an automatic past, often without realizing it. The truth is that this is not an awakening. It is something much deeper, a realignment with reality. Awakening looks like a beginning, but what is at stake here is the ability to make a conscious transition between the infinite possibilities that already exist. On the quantum plane, every potential reality already exists. Timelines overlap. Each one vibrates with a different version of you, but which one is reflected in your reality? That depends on the frequency at which you vibrate. Most people think that change comes by wishing. They think it is enough to want more, to affirm more, to dream more. But the quantum field responds not only to what you think or what you say, but to who you are, or rather, who you vibrate. The frequency is far beyond words. And here the most important difference is this. If you want to change your outer world, you must first change the inner software that produces that world. If your system, your body, your mind, your emotions, your subconscious records is still coded to an old version, no matter how much you say I want to change, your signals serve a different timeline. You may be telling a new story in your mind, but if your body still carries the old memory of you, then the field will reflect the old version. This is where the concept of becoming comes in. Reality can change not by wanting something, but by being in its frequency. Now I ask you, which version of yourself are you in resonance with? Which version of yourself are the decisions you make today? Maybe you are still vibrating with a consciousness of scarcity, emitting a frequency that is filled with longing for love but fear of rejection. You know what happens then. The field responds to what you feel most, not what you say most. That is why true transformation is silent. It is an inner vibration. Most of the time it doesn't even need words, because the quantum field works with frequencies, not with whispers. For the person who understands this, we cannot say that reality is fixed, because reality is not fixed. It is a mirror that is completely shaped according to you. And whatever energy you radiate, you enter into a reality that corresponds to that energy. Manifestation is therefore not just a matter of making a wish. It is a matter of state. It is a matter of becoming an energy body. Because if your past pain, disappointments, learned helplessness are still encoded in your nervous system, you continue to broadcast that data without realizing it. That's why it's not enough to say I want to change. You have to be I have changed. And your body has to feel it first. This is where the real transformation begins. A neurological rewiring, not a mental one. You have to restructure not only your thoughts, but also your body chemistry and emotional reactions. Because your energy field is shaped not only by your thoughts, but also by your body posture, breathing, emotional reaction time and subconscious patterns. Therefore, changing your frequency is not about daydreaming, but about becoming a new state of being. This is where quantum physicists and spiritual sages find common ground. The universe is made of energy, frequency and vibration. As Nikola Tesla said, if you want to discover the secrets of the universe, think about energy, frequency and vibration. This is not only a scientific fact, but also the key to personal reality. Your task is to consciously choose that vibration. And now you should know that you are not just a chooser, you are a being that creates a field, radiates and attracts the realities that fit that field. And this is where the great illusion begins. Most people believe that change will come like a wave from outside, as if one day something will happen and life will magically change. But this is not how reality works. Real change starts from the inside. a silent, invisible but inner transition whose echo reaches across all timelines. You still define yourself by what you once learned. Every sentence you say, "This is how I am," fixes you in a certain version. However, nothing is fixed on the quantum plane. Every definition of who you think you are is actually an identity created with the energy of the past. And this identity, instead of opening you up to new frequencies, often turns into a prison that locks you in. But here's the good news. That door opens from the inside. A new you is born not by the outside world forcing you, but by you rising from within. And ascension is not a romantic notion as one might think. It is a very concrete work of energy. What your mind focuses on, your body follows. Whatever habits your body repeats, your emotional frequencies vibrate in that direction. And as this cycle continues, you go back to the same timeline. So you have to transform not only your thoughts, but also your habits, your emotional memory and your automatic reactions. Every moment you live is a projection of the frequency you are in. If your life still repeats the same themes, it doesn't mean that you are bad, but it means that somewhere, you are still connecting with the same energy. Maybe with fear, maybe with a sense of worthlessness, maybe with a sense of undeservingness. And every time, even if you want a different outcome, if you are emitting the same vibration, the field will reflect the same theme back to you. Because on the quantum plane, the most repeated energy is the most powerful energy. Thoughts are temporary, but if a state, a way of being, is continuous, then the field perceives it as real. And your energy is constantly saying, "I am alone, I am something missing." If it gives off feelings like, "I am never enough," then the outside world will bring you loneliness, lack and inadequacy over and over again. That's why transformation happens with frequency, not just with thought. So it's not just thinking like someone else, it's feeling like someone else. And this feeling is not to take on a false role, but to be attuned to that frequency. Here you have to ask yourself the question, are you ready to create a new reality? Are you really ready to let go of the old self? Because most people hold on to the drama, the identity, the trauma of the old self. They have developed a belonging to it. That self was upset, it was right, it was wronged. But if those energies still define you, unfortunately, they become chains that prevent you from moving into your new timeline. This is where radical inner honesty comes in. To look at yourself openly, to realize which story you're holding on to, which identity you're still holding on to, and anchoring yourself to, and then making a choice. Do I continue to maintain this version, or do I dare to move into the vibration of a new state? On the quantum plane, the moment of choice is very critical, because every choice opens a door, and every "this is how I am now" stance is the magnetic code of a new timeline. Not when you say "I have changed," but when you live it, when you feel it in your breath, in your body language, in your inner posture. That is when the field reveals the new reality. Your job is to start becoming it. First your inside changes, then your outside transforms. Just like a seed first takes root in the ground. In that invisible phase, the most powerful revolution actually takes place. And now, at this point, the path diverges. Either you will choose once again your old familiar cycle, comfortable, familiar but limiting, or you will step into a new frequency, unknown, perhaps frightening, but full of infinite potential. Remember, potential always opens with vibration. Your new timeline already exists right now. A freer, more balanced, more whole you is waiting for you there. But that you is not a reflection of the you of today. To move into it, you must slowly leave this version behind. To facilitate this, in the next chapter we will move into a much more concrete area, the practice of inner transformation. I will talk about techniques you can use to align the mind, body and energy to a new timeline. We will move on to tools you can use to rewrite your frequency, mindfulness exercises, practices to synchronize body-mind energy. But first, make a decision. Which version are you ready to move to? Which emotions will you no longer carry? Which frequencies will you stop being attached to? Now understand this clearly. Mastering quantum transformation means consciously remembering who you are. And this remembering is not by accessing an external knowledge, but by re-accessing the wisdom within. You already have all versions of you, mine, both the traumatized one and the highest, free, creative, vibrating with love. These versions vibrate together in a field of possibilities. Which version of you will become is the sum of the small choices you make every day. The point here is not to ask the question, what do I want? We are past that stage now. Now there is a more powerful question to ask. What frequency am I? Because life responds to what you are, not to what you want. What is the first thing you feel when you open your eyes in the morning? Anxiety or peace? Lack or gratitude? Fear or trust? These determine your frequency basis, and therein lies the transformative secret. You can manage this frequency. It is not fixed. It can be redirected every morning, every breath, every choice. So one of the things you should start with mindfulness is an emotion frequency diary. Take a few minutes every day in the morning and evening to notice the emotions you feel and record them without judgment. Because noticing is the first step to change. And what does this awareness serve? Mindfulness takes you out of the automatic responses of your nervous system and helps you align with your creative consciousness. That's when you become a vibrational response from within, not a reaction to the outside world. And this generating of response happens not only with thought, mostly with the body. So you have to start seeing the body as a field of wisdom, not as a tool. Because the body doesn't lie. Thoughts can be distorted, stories can change, but to change how the body feels, you have to really transform. That's why internalization starts at the physical level. If your shoulders are tense when you meditate, if you talk about love but your heart is closed, if you intend abundance, but your body is still in scarcity mode, the field looks at your vibrational integrity, not your intention. And this is where physical realignment comes in. Changing your posture, your breathing, the muscle memory of your facial expression is actually the simplest but most effective way to align with a new frequency. Now ask yourself, if I were a version of myself living in abundance, how would I stand? How would I walk? How would I breathe? What words would I choose? These small codifications will gradually move you into that version. And it's worth reminding again, it's not an imitation, it's an adaptation process. It is necessary to create consciously chosen habits, not fake behaviors. So from this point on, you should start working with body meditations. Meditation is not just mental silence, it is also a bodily settlement. It is a practice where you synchronize your breath with your body, where you place certain emotions in your cells. For example, a body meditation on the theme of abundance is not just about saying affirmations, it's about expanding the ribcage with the breath, creating relaxation in the stomach, and building a sense of trust in the pelvic area. Because the vibration of abundance is experienced first in the root and sacral chakra, both physically and mentally. Because as much as you want to move to the new version of yourself, your old version may still be repeating itself to survive, especially beliefs formed in childhood, relationship dynamics, emotions such as rejection, abandonment, guilt, shame. They prevent you from reaching your new version with invisible threads in your energy field. And here is another important question. Which child, which moment, which wound is still stuck in my past? Because every stuck emotional moment fixes you to a certain timeline. Mentally you may have grown up, but emotionally you may be making decisions as you were when you were 7 years old. So the real leap is not just moving forward, but lovingly healing the part of you that is stuck in the past. Now slow down, be quiet for a moment, because from this point on, it takes courage to bring to the surface all that has been frozen, stuck and repressed in the past. The key to true transformation is through confrontation, and confrontation does not mean reliving the pain, but going through it and finding wisdom. The first step is meet your inner child, the one that is waiting for you in its deepest, most vulnerable state. Every moment you have repressed it, rejected it, ignored it. Let it now come alive before your eyes again. Because your new version cannot emerge without that child holding your hand. You cannot feel complete without saving him. Close your eyes and just ask, when have I felt alone? When did I believe I didn't deserve love? When did I think I was not worthy? The answers to these questions will create a vibration not only in your mind, but also in your emotional body and nervous system. This vibration is the invisible chains that bind you to old timelines. But don't be afraid, You are conscious now. Now you can untie those chains with love. Because at this point you realize this. Having compassion for yourself is one of the highest frequencies. And the real frequency jumps come not by running away from pain, but by approaching it with love. Now we move on to the second stage. Subconscious recoding. Your subconscious is your automatic pilot system. It is the area that manages what you don't think, determines your reflexes, repeats your life patterns, and you can access it not only with logic, but with the triad of emotion plus repetition plus visualization. Here's what you do for that. Every morning and every night, when you are in the alpha frequency, that is, before you wake up and just before you go to sleep, place these new realities in your mind. I am secure. Love is my natural state. I am in harmony with abundance. Health and vitality flow through my body, but not just in words. Close your eyes, slow your breathing, and feel these phrases. Experience them as a warmth on your skin, a relaxation in your heart, a softening in your eyes, because the subconscious encodes feelings, not words. And now we move on to the third stage, neutralizing and cleansing the energy field. You are not just a physical body, but an expanding energy field. And this field is in constant exchange with other people, places, events. This is why it is necessary to practice a daily energy hygiene. At the end of each day or after a challenging interaction, do a practice with the intention. Today I lovingly release all energies that do not belong to me. I come back to myself. I call my whole self now. I allow only pure energy that belongs to me to remain in my body, in my space. Do this practice for 5 minutes. Standing or sitting, breathing deeply and placing your hands on your heart. This stabilizes your field and calls you back to the center, because a quantum leap can only happen when you are in the center, not when you are scattered, not when you are fragmented. And the last stage, sustainable alignment. Now you know very clearly, high frequencies are not a peak, but a state of habit. And what makes it sustainable? Ritual plus awareness plus community. Ritual. Every day you should have a practice that brings you into the present, even for 5 minutes. This could be breathing, meditation, writing, dance, prayer, or just touching nature. Mindfulness. At least once a day, ask yourself, which version of me is activated right now? Community. It is difficult to carry the transformation alone. Connect with people who mirror you, who stay in high frequency. This is where the essence of true transformation begins to shine. A sustainable alignment begins to permeate every moment of your life. Raising your frequency is no longer a goal, it becomes a way of life. How you wake up in the morning, what you pay attention to during the day, how you rest your mind and body in the evening, all become energy points that keep the new timeline alive. And these energy points combine to form a unity, a state of now that leaves the past behind and consciously builds the future. You are now transforming into a being that is the change itself, not just desiring the change. The most powerful question to ask at this point is, what small choice today will bring me closer to the new version of myself? Because remember, revolutionary transformations are often born from quiet, small decisions. Choosing a thought, paying attention to a word, doing an action with awareness. These create ripples in the quantum field. Over time, these waves build a vibrational field that works for you. You are no longer thrown by external conditions. You become a force that shapes external conditions through the influence emanating from your center. The new door that we will look at together from this point on, just as individual transformation is an increase in vibration, when it meets the collective field, this vibration grows and turns into a resonance. So as you change, your environment, your relationships, your opportunities, and even your physical reality begin to change. This is not a coincidence. It is the inevitable result of the law of frequency. In the next step, we will explore together how to nurture this resonance, how to consciously choose your environment, and how to steadily grow your new reality. Because this is just the beginning. And now, we come to the most important stage, putting a sustainable state of alignment at the center of your life. Now you understand that high frequency is not a momentary high, but a conscious choice and habit that repeats every day. It is not a one-time event, it is a continuous, gradual process of transformation. That's why you need to ask yourself this question every morning. What frequency am I carrying today? Which version of myself am I nurturing? This awareness keeps you in the moment and connects you to the depths of your being. It all starts with taking small but meaningful steps every day. These are the micro-choices that are the precursors to big changes, slowly leaving behind the consciousness of scarcity and activating the generosity that comes from within. Opening the doors to love, gently welcoming and releasing fears, accepting and caring for your body as it is. These small harmonies make a slow but sure transition into your new timeline. Every movement, every breath, every thought is part of this process, and recognizing and directing them leads you into deeper and deeper alignment. Internal resistances, unconscious patterns and old habits will often try to stop you on this journey. But the important thing is not to give up, but to come back, refocus and gently invite yourself into this new frequency each time. As you do this, the gravitational pull of the old timeline weakens, and you feel stronger and clearer towards your new reality. That is the moment when you decide to be there. Not just to arrive, but to be. It is also very precious to know that you are not alone on this journey. Being together with others of a similar frequency supports you, inspires you and contributes to your growth. Opening yourself to this community, sharing your energy and living your new version in these spaces deepens your transformation and makes it permanent. Remember, this journey is not just personal, it is a collective awakening, and it gets stronger as you share it. Now the question in front of you is today, in this moment, what small step will you take to align more deeply with the new version of yourself? This choice doesn't have to be big, it just needs to be real and meaningful to you. Because transformation is only complete when you decide to be fully there, when you begin to be yourself. As you move forward on this path, know that every moment will guide you, because real change is hidden within your life, in your every choice and in your very being. Thus, as you move forward on your timeline, you are opening the doors to a new reality, redefining yourself and profoundly transforming your life. And this transformation contributes to the evolution of not only you, but also of those around you and the entire collective consciousness. As your frequency rises, the world rises with you. So right now, right here, right now, make this promise to yourself: I am not waiting to change, I am changing. Remember, in this journey, concepts like waking up or getting somewhere are just illusions. The real truth is to discover the frequency that already exists within you, and to constantly return to it. You are not waking up, you are already living in a different reality. But it takes time to accept, feel, and internalize it. True transformation is about slowly withdrawing from the patterns and frequencies of the old timelines and flowing into the new quantum 5D reality. It is not a goal, but a way of life, a steady state, a constant movement. Understand now that real change does not begin and continue outside, but entirely within you. Moving into the new timeline is not just about creating change in the external world, but about staying in tune with the vibration at your core. As long as you maintain this harmony, the quantum field synchronizes with you. Reality automatically shifts and new possibilities become a natural extension of your being. And this is a truth that has always been hidden. You are an active creator of the quantum field, not just a passive observer. Now you hold this secret in your hands. So remember this truth in every moment, in every choice, in every breath. You are a wave of energy that is not only awakening, but is constantly shifting, transforming, and creating reality with your very being. And from now on, every choice you make will transform not only you, but the entire collective, the entire universe. This journey of yours is a dance of discovering your own truth in infinite possibilities. Now is the time to open the doors of your own quantum 5D reality. As you step deeper into this understanding, realize that your power lies not in striving for or forcing change, but in aligning with the subtle currents of existence that flow through you. Each moment offers a new chance to tune your frequency, to embody the highest version of yourself and ripple that transformation outward. It's not about chasing an ideal or reaching for a distant goal. It's about embracing the ever-present now, where infinite layers of reality intersect and invite you to co-create with grace and ease. Remember, this quantum 5D reality is not a distant destination, but a living, breathing state of being that is accessible with every breath you take. The shifts you experience are reflections of your expanding consciousness, and your openness to these shifts invites others to awaken with you. Together, as a collective, you are weaving a new fabric of existence, one in which love, abundance and harmony are natural expressions of your shared vibration. Step boldly into this reality, for your reality is as limitless as your willingness to believe in it. Thank you for being with me on this journey. I am grateful for your presence, attention and energy. Remember, you are not just a spectator, you are one of the active creators of this transformation and new reality. So keep your alignment, keep your vibration high, keep playing in the quantum field, because the universe is being rewritten with you, and this rewriting is rising from within you.